Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi. Kia ora koutou e te whānau. Welcome back to Big Halloween News with myself, Magenta, and special guest host tonight, Brie. How are we all doing?
Good. I might have just knocked over something on my screen. 1 second. There we go.
I did hear lots of things bashing and banging. You're good?
Whoops. Yeah, no, microphone decided to play up right as the credits basically finished. But I guess now is as good as time as any. I guess we're going to do the reveal, right? We're going to do it all together.
Yes.
These two haven't seen what I'm wearing, so I thought I would show everyone at the same time. So let's...
Whoa!
So...
I love
You've heard of a webcast. Oh, wait, what is it doing? You've heard of a webcaster. That's what I am.
Nice.
So happy Halloween, whānau. I am going to... What is going on with my microphone?
Oh my god!
All right, we can hear you just fine.
All right.
Very
as long
cool.
As you can hear me.
Yep. It definitely is coming through the other mic, I think.
Now.
I see.
Very cool. Well, yes, it's a Halloween special tonight. We've got something a little bit different planned. We thought we would make the most of the occasion. And we are going to look at our 3 spookiest legislations, policies, budget cuts, things that this government have done over the last, oh my gosh, has it only been 2 years? The last 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit fun and enjoy spooky season. Am I dressed up as Brie? No, but I did come for her blonde hair, that's for sure. What do we think?
We're twinning. I love it.
Twinning.
We'll become blonde.
It's very cute.
I get insulted daily for being blonde, and I think blondes have more fun. We should all be blonde.
I mean, I have to dye my hair blonde so I can get it green, like, you know?
Yeah.
We're all blonde underneath. Fun times. Well, anything exciting happening this week for you guys? Or happened this week, Magenta? Been up to anything exciting?
Anything exciting? Honestly, everything's been exciting in the news. Although I did, unfortunately, I got all dressed up to go out to bingo on Wednesday, and I turned up, and it had been cancelled for a private function, and they didn't put anything on their social media. I was very mad. But other than that, it's been all right. I've been planning this. I've been doing a bunch of other stuff around the house. I'm also just glad there's been a bit of sun. That's really all I've been glad for. So, yeah. And obviously looking forward to hanging out with everyone in the chat.
Absolutely. Brie, anything exciting happened for you this week?
I've had the busiest week of my life since starting posting online ever, but it's been awesome. I've been at the Aotearoa Educators Collective conference, and it was so good. Like, I just learned so much and had an amazing time, and I got to meet some MPs, which was pretty cool, and I was fangirling a little bit over Lawrence from the Greens Party, and I was fangirling over Willow Jean from Labour, and yeah, they talked a lot about transparency within our education system, and some really great professors got up, and I learned heaps from them. It was just, yeah, it was one of I love things like that, just sitting down, listening to experts, I don't know. It was really, really good. And they also provided really good food. We had like a wrap with chicken and a coleslaw with a peanut satay. And I was like, this is better
Ooh.
at school lunches.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
was awesome. And yeah, I got to meet educators from all over the country, which was super good and very helpful. Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah, I saw
So,
the pictures.
I've
Looked fun.
it was very fun.
I've been meaning to ask Brie, is that your non-content creator profession is education?
I've worked in like everything, not really, but I've worked all over the show: hospo, healthcare, public service. I worked at Ministry of Justice and ACC, and I lived in America for a bit. Right now, I'm a music teacher.
Oh,
just
cute.
Yeah, I teach littlies, piano,
Cute.
singing, and guitar. And yeah, that's what I do at the moment. But I was just invited there to help host the political panel, which was really cool. And I really wanted to just learn from actual experts who do know how education should be run. So it was really cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
What did you think of the news this week with the proposed curriculum changes?
Yeah, not great, huh? It's quite interesting just hearing about like NDAs being given to people and writers not knowing who's written it. I feel like that's a question we really need answered. So yeah, it's interesting to hear from the actual teachers, because a lot of them obviously can't speak out because their contracts are like, you need to be apolitical. But a lot of them just are now because they're so over it. They're so over all the changes. Like even before I was, when I was in school, apparently the curriculum was changing all the time then. So just learning the history of it all from the actual people that have worked in education for 40, 50 years was really, really good. Yeah.
I also saw an interesting TikTok, I think, of you about some OIAs you've just recently gotten or not gotten.
Not gotten. I did receive a few today from Erica Stanford herself, which was quite interesting. But I haven't looked through them fully, and I'm still waiting for my other half from the ministry before I kind of deep dive into it. But yeah, it's the lack of transparency is pretty concerning. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, hey, I'm glad people like you are doing OIAs to just find these things out.
Yeah.
That's
I heard
often
I
what
don't
it takes, but not everyone's got the knowledge or time to do that. So it's important.
I heard the PPTA director, I think, the other day on the show, and he was saying, like, I'm such a nerd. I love to just look at OIAs. And I was like,
Yeah.
me.
Right? We need more people like him in the world.
Yes, I love it.
Exactly.
I think the last one I looked at was, I can't remember now. I did a deep dive into something that took me to the OIAs. It was the Treasury, Adrian Orr, that saga. And I got deep into the OIAs and I was like, this is fascinating. This is actually really hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you just get like a PDF of documents that are kind of like sliced. So you kind of need the context of why that they're in there. And I think one of them, the most hilarious one was the screenshot of a text chain where one of them, I didn't even know you could do this. I know you can like a message, and if you're not on the same device, you get liked and then it quotes the message. So it had done that, but it said disliked, quote the message. I'm like, I didn't even know you could dislike a message. So the person responding was like, what? And then they're like, because they're both boomers, but the other guy was just like, I don't know, please ignore that. And they made it into made it into the OIA. I was like, cool.
Shame.
I don't know how to do it.
Well, I mean, neither of them understood what that had happened. They was like, I don't know why that came up. I don't know what I pressed. Oh, it's so funny. Very funny. Fun times. Well, we should probably get into some housekeeping before we go too far.
Yes.
As always, we have to say a big thank you to our patrons on Patreon. This is our Patreon page. This is what it looks like when you're not logged in. And for some reason, we have 611 members, but That's not true, according to Pat. So,
Yeah,
don't
who are
know.
saying different numbers? So I'm confused.
Yes. It was about 100.
I'm not a patron.
460 odd, maybe. I mean, you're not paying yourself, Magenta?
No, I'd have to multi-class to do that, okay?
Yes. Well, if you want to become a patron on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/bighairynews and you get little things like deals that are happening. I won't scroll down in case it reveals anything. Sneak peeks and all sorts of things, and any interviews that we may pre-record. Then we've got the BHN store if you would like to purchase any merchandise. We've got all sorts of things. Nikki No Boats, Chewie Foo-Foos, for the boys. We've still got our buffer gear. We've got the 4 of us now. Very cute. Our slogan t-shirts, I think I'll call them collectively.
Yeah.
And enamel pins, I think.
So
that are
good looking.
Hopping off. This is so cute.
Right.
This I like this a lot. Very, very cool. So we got some cool stuff. And if you're into, if you know anyone in your family or yourself, if you'd like to get yourself a Christmas present, it's a great place to go. Or unless you want to, unless you got a Heary in your news. What are our people called? They're called Hearies?
Neighbours.
Hairballs.
Neighbours.
Because we've got Jesus. Oh, that was great.
I'm gonna call them.
Great.
I feel like Hearies is also appropriate. So if you've got any Hearies in your life, jump into the store and get yourself some merchandise.
Yeah, radicalize your family for Christmas.
Right.
Tax wealth, not work. Get one of those pins. You know. Put a fuck around, find out in your stocking.
Oh, could you imagine? Give one to your grandma. Yeah?
Oh, she'd love it.
Go on, surely.
All right. Well, shall we get into the meat and potatoes? Who would like to start? Magenta, would you? Oh, actually, Magenta, do you have memes this week, or are we just going spooky?
Oh yeah, should I have? I got distracted by us talking. I always upload my things in the beginning, but we talked, and it ruined my flow. So how about someone? I can pop them in a second. Just buffer for me.
I'll put this up. Someone wants to say they really admire Brie's posts on Facebook. The deep dives into exposing our corrupt government practices are very informative. Awesome work, Brie.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite weird, like learning, I don't know, like coping with the external validation that I get from people versus how I actually feel about myself. You know, like I have the imposter syndrome. But yeah, it's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that one. But yes, I do have my TLDR, so why don't we just go into those real quick? What's been happening this week in memes? Oh yes, we had old Winnie Peters giving the sassy reply to Christopher Luxon, who I believe then deleted this tweet, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
A lot of deleting this.
Well, is sus fucking government. Also, this was technically like just at the end of the week before, but any excuse to put a dropout meme in. We robbed the Louvre. They actually filmed that 4th of April, so prophetic. And obviously, everyone's been loving the pictures from old Luxy boy with his best friend. And man, the pictures they've been giving us a lot of giggles. Oh yes, this was an iconic moment on BHN this week. Honestly, have they met a 5-year-old? So good. In international news, I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a truck hauling aggressive monkeys thought to carry hepatitis C, herpes, and COVID overturned on the Mississippi Highway with at least one on the loose. So, you know, this is standard news in our current 2025 existence, Fano. And then we had some BH Inception where it was definitely funny watching this part of the show when you've got so many layers of them just happening on top of each other. It was definitely a bit of fun. And obviously, since it's Halloween, one little Halloween meme just to start us
Note.
off.
Do you guys hand out candy on Halloween or lollies?
No one comes to my house, and I'm glad. I live in a spot that's not really like trick-or-treatable, so
Yeah.
I'm sure if there was, I probably wouldn't give
I know,
them any
it's not as
candy
common.
anyway.
Yeah.
No, have you seen the cost of living? You want me to give
Have you
free
seen
candy?
the
I don't
cost
even
of
give free
candy?
right?
Just
That
bloody
really is.
expensive.
I can
I'll
barely
definitely
afford
sign up.
justifying my own.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like as a kid, there was like a weird time when people were putting like crazy stuff in the candy and they were like, don't give it to the kids. Like, be
Well,
careful.
allegedly.
Yeah.
I think that was more of an allegedly, though. I feel like, I don't know if that was just one of those things, your parents tell you to try to, like, freak you out a
Avoid you
little.
going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't eat too much.
right. Oh, looks like M's got. Is that a graph I see, or are these some numbers I see?
That's me Googling a mathematical equation.
Hey, honestly, no judgment here. I don't do fucking math. That's
It
not what we
was-
come
was
here
a-
to do.
It was a pretty easy equation. I'm glad that wasn't on the screen. You guys would be disappointed in
Oh,
me.
could you imagine if I had just thrown you under the bus like that? Just been like, oh, what's some M's looking at?
What's 5 times 6?
Well, we've got a super chat in here from Kiwi Burb, $2. Spider Match doing whatever a web card can. Thank you. Great. Slightly fucked up, but thank you. And Kai Matata for $5. I heard Seymour went to a Halloween party today. He, like many, went dressed as a ghost. However, his outfit was strangely pointy around the head. Allegedly. That's what we say, right?
Allegedly.
And then we got
Allegedly.
Raijin for $2. This is politics.
It's
This
politics.
is politics.
This is
Politics.
politics.
Politics. Politics. Oh, now I need you guys to make us into like the actual character versions. Put our faces on stuff.
We
Do the
want
fun
fan
stuff.
edits, please.
Yeah, exactly. And
Alrighty.
oh god, you wanted to
Oh.
know about trick or treating?
Oh.
Apparently, Kiwi Burp has had 60 children. That is too many
Aw.
children coming to your house.
So hungry.
Right? Damn. Halloween's good for those kids.
Alrighty. Alright, let's jump into this. I've got notes, but they are all over the place. And it was kind of like a thread of thoughts and then a thread of more thoughts. So bear with me. There is a point here. It's a lot of mathematics and a lot of numbers. Not really my forte. So bear with me. So my policy of choice is not really a policy so much as not really, not legislative policy as such, but something that came out of the budget cuts. And that was the budget cuts that came to KiwiSaver and the first home grant. Not so great stuff that happened. So this was May 2024 that they cut the first home grant, and then this year, the last I don't even know when that was. That wasn't that long ago, was it? When did they announce that? Oh, July. That they were cutting the government contributions to KiwiSaver. So some pretty shitty stuff. But the reason that this is top of my spooky list is because of the damage it will do over time. Obviously, everyone top of their spooky list is the RSB and the Treaty Principles Bill and children's food and God knows what else, just about everything. But this for me was the one that stuck out, that I keep coming back to, of like, this one affects me. And that's the really annoying thing. And I know people this is affected because they slashed it so suddenly. And I think that's the thing that's so devastating. So the first home grant was it's been around since 2010. I'm pretty sure is Key's government. So
Yeah.
national, what the fuck? Since 2010, they've had this grant where a single person could get $5,000 from the government, and for an existing home, $10,000 if they were buying a brand new build. If they were a couple, that would be $10,000 and $20,000 respectively. So it was a fantastic system. Everyone I knew that bought a house pretty much used it. That were within the price bracket range. It was fantastic. One of the things about this was that it was like an overnight change. So they brought it in on the 22nd of May. They said, we're scrapping it effective immediately. You've got till midnight, I think it was, or even like at the time, they just said, we're scrapping it. So people that had applications that were approved, I believe, could still get, there you go. Bishop announced the grants would be stopped on Wednesday, so that was the day of. Applications for grants immediately stopped. And it was only those people that had the pre-approval, or they were kind of already going through they had an offer and things like that. And they had 3 months to basically use it, and then it was gone. So it was kind of spooky because it came out of nowhere. They didn't have a mandate to do it. There was no reason other than money to do it. Their justification was it would save $245 million over 4 years, which is not a crazy big amount when we consider all of the other things that we kind of look at, like the education budget and a tax break for landlords, the $600 million ferries that just disappeared, money that went into the ether. And that was half of that, so not even like the full amount. 140 million of that was going to fund 1,500 new social housing places. So it's kind of like, well, we could get more people into their family home, or we could build new state houses. But as I'll explain soon, and most of us know this, they haven't really funded a whole lot of social housing. So great use of money? Don't know. So last year alone, that was 23 to 24 period. What's that? May 22, 2024 to 25, sorry. 12,000 people were approved. Since June 2017, HUD reported that 87,000 grants had been paid. This is a really funny piece because good old Infometrics Brad Olson, our favourite economist,
hell yeah,
has really conflicted view on this, where he goes, the policy is not great economically, but at the same time, I know people that you using this. So, as Craig was saying earlier in the week, like, economics is not just the numbers thing. It's also in the context and the social side of things. Like, you can't just be like, numbers, economically this doesn't work. It was like, yeah, but economically it doesn't make sense to pay for education. Economically it doesn't really make sense to have free healthcare. Economically it doesn't really make sense to have any public services, basically, because they all just cost money and they don't have any return. So economics is a balance of making money and spending money and taxing revenue, like all of these things. So like it might not be a good economic policy, but it did a social good. So Brad, I think you might have a bit of a conflict.
I feel
there.
like you could argue that, like, if you've got a home, right, you're less likely to be paying rent, which means you're probably going to have more disposable income. And we know from Craig Rennie, people who have that disposable income and spend it stimulate the economy. Crazy.
Yeah,
Something
I
else
actually
that
these grants.
go.
One of those numbers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I bought a house at 23 with my partner, and we just looked at our Kiwis. We were flatting in Cuba Street in the center of Wellington. Yeah, and it was not great. Our homeless numbers were increasing. It's quite a lot of drunk people on the weekends. I was not enjoying living there, and we decided would look at our KiwiSavers and we were like, oh, these aren't that bad, because we had quite good jobs at the time. So we were contributing 10% since we were like started dating, which was when I was 19. And then we moved home with my mum for like a year and a half and just saved everything. She was very generous and let us live there rent free. And then we got these grants, and we just happened to buy at Christmas time, which no one's looking around then. And if they had it, when this was removed, I was gutted, because if I hadn't had this, I would have had to live with my mum for another few years while I saved enough of a deposit. And for a lot of people, they can afford the payments, they just can't afford the deposit. So this was helping us get onto the market, and I'm just gutted that some of my friends are still, just having to scrape by. And some people don't have family they can live with,
Oh, absolutely. I think Pat was saying the other day about how, he has a very, like, the circumstances that he did not have any control over is what helped him get on property ladder, And that's the thing. So sometimes it is just about a bit of luck, timing, who you know, and what family you have.
Yeah, I'm gutted for this.
so.
And I'm gutted for the KiwiSaver getting slashed in half, the contribution as well, because that's like what a lot of people use for their first home. So that sucks.
Very, very much. I'm gonna do some back of the notepad type numbering mathematics for you guys. So something that irked me was something that Brad had said a year ago. Evidence shows that the grant brings forward the purchase of a first home, but in most cases it does not make a difference to whether someone can buy a home or not. Olsen and Bishop as well estimated it would delay first home buyers by about a year if they were looking to buy in the short term. And that irked me, because I know those numbers because I've been looking at them recently. It's not a year, because the prices, not even the last like 12 months, they haven't changed much, and they're still ridiculously high. So I did a couple of numbers as best as I could. So the housing market usually grows about 5% on average per year. And if you look at the backdated, it's like, I think the craziest was like 7, but there was a lot of 6% in there. Funnily enough, the last year it's only been, actually, no, I don't have that number. The rental price has only gone up 2.5%. Anyways, the housing market, though, is about 5% on average. So the current median or average house price is about, it's actually $900,000 if you average it across all of New Zealand. That's the average across the entirety of the country. But I know that is like in very select places around the country, and that's not a first home. So I was like, that is a number that's not quite correct. So for a starter home, the average is still really fucking high. And this is lower than the average, which was about 700. Or actually it was even higher than that. So I've gone for a 650 for the first home, which is still a ton of money. And you can, depending on where you live, that can definitely be about half that, but that's like the bottom of the scale, and even that can be sometimes hard to get into the threes. Most homes are easily in the 4s starting. So with 5% house growth, it's about $32,000 more a year for a home, which is 3 times that of the 10,000 that people need to make up in a year to get that first home grant. When they said you could save 10,000 in a year. You've also got to factor in the costs of rent increases. So rent in the last year, it's only been 2.5% increases, but those have also been quite high in recent times, in the 5%. So you're paying an extra $14 a week, supposedly, in rent, depending on how much you're paying. So that's based on like a $500 a week rent, which is really low for some places.
That's like someone got tax cuts.
It's true. That's true. That's true. They did. You got a $14 increase. Well done. It's going on rent. Thank you, Brie, for pointing that out. And the cost of living in the last year has gone up 3%. as well. So that has also contributed as well to the up cost that you've now got to go up against to save. I did the numbers and it's crazy. The cost of living average is, and this is the low end, $4,500 a month, which is $54,000 a year. This is where it gets kind of scary. And obviously that number is double if you have a family. Like it is insane. The average salary, and that's before tax, is about $69,000, I think it was. If you are doing the bare minimum on KiwiSaver, which is the before tax number, I believe, 3% from you, 3% from your employer makes 6%, you can save another $4,000 a year. Still well below the $10,000, still well below the $32,000 you need to now buy a house. If you're putting in if you're putting in the 13%, then at most you're looking at about, on that salary, looking at about $9,000 a year, still below the $10,000. And as I just said, $54,000 a year in your living costs, you don't have a whole lot of money to play with. And assuming that you can even get approved on that salary, which I doubt you could, for a mortgage. So the $10,000, possibly $20,000, like if we're looking at $650,000, that's easily a brand new home in the suburbs. Like that's typically what you're looking at. That is very much what a lot of people I know who are first home buyers on fairly good salaries, probably much higher than the 69. They would be looking at that kind of, in that sort of range for their mortgage. So it's not great. These numbers aren't great. Like the 10 to 20,000 actually does make a difference, because that also means that you might have the 5% in order to get on the ladder with the kāinga order home loan, the first home loan, which is a 5% minimum. That could be the difference of someone who's on a very low wage just making it into that 5% bracket so that they can get in with the kāinga order 5% loan. So it does make a difference. So just some numbers to put on the top of your head. They are, like I said, they're napkin numbers. They're obviously not, some of them aren't realistic, but it does put into perspective some of the things that the houses are rising at a certain percentage. You've also got living costs that are rising. You've also, because you don't own your home, you've got rent prices, which we have zero control over, that are rising. Like everything is rising probably beyond what someone could afford to save. Not everyone can put 10% into their KiwiSaver. Some people can barely put the 3% minimum that they're putting in. So, like, to say, for someone like Brad, who's in a very privileged position, and Bishop, fuck's sake, for them to say the $10,000 to $20,000 doesn't really make a difference, like, I think that is a very privileged position, because that can be the difference between someone who's in a more privileged position who can get a cash handout by the bank of mum and dad, for example. You know, that's quite often what people do, and that, like, the cash handout from the government is huge for them. So, I mean, Brie, you just said before, you know, you're able to do it with that, and it means you've got a smaller mortgage, and it means that you can have some cash to do all the stuff you need to do with a house.
Yes. Yeah.
Any thoughts on that part? And then I'll go into the KiwiSaver changes.
It's just sad. I think like, it's especially when we only get what is it, 3%, 4% from our employer. Like, I just don't know how anyone's expected to do it. I think that you were talking about everything's going up, but the only thing that's going down are our birth rates. And I can totally understand why, because it is so impossible to even think about having children or bringing children into a world that is so expensive. Like, it's just so hard. I don't know anyone. I'm like perfect, you know, child age. I own a house. I have a partner that I've been with for a long time. I'm 26. You know, I could think about having children, but it's just the thought of that, the cost of that is just like, no way. And
Mhm.
I just feel really sad for people because I know a lot of people want to have a home before they even think about that kind of thing. And yeah, it just sucks that it's hard for people our age to have children when they're living with 9 people in a flat, spending $200 a week on rent. And, you know, I know that because I've spent that much on rent in Wellington City. So
Oh, yeah.
it's unfair, man. It's just so unfair.
Mhm.
30-year-olds living in, or like 40-year-olds even living in rentals with 8 other people that are moldy, and it's just ridiculous. We should be ashamed.
Yeah. Magenta, any thoughts to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it sucks for those who would have been able to obviously get in on that. I mean, I'm someone who probably will never, unless BHN goes real well, guys, I'm probably someone who's never gonna own a home. So yeah, but at the same time, it's like, how can people who might, I don't know, add to the labor force by procreating, how are they supposed to? It's hard enough to fucking look at your shopping bill every week, let alone to even think about saving or looking into buying a house. And I think, you know, we used to be able to have that dream in this country because we also used to make things in this country. And we had a bunch of other like social welfare benefits that were available, all that shit that they basically are trying to take away. And it's definitely going to set people like, and it will probably set certain generations and families backwards as well. Some who might have been able to climb their way out might be stuck there for a little while longer.
Mhm.
Or things might grow beyond what they can save. Spooky.
Yeah, I
Uh,
always ask people, like, do you get the 3 for 20 at meat at the supermarket? Because that's what we've been living on for the last like 2 years, the 3 for 20 meat. It's like you not like normal mince, it's like pork mixed with beef mince, you know?
And
like
fillers.
yeah.
Mm.
But it's just the cost is crazy, eh?
Mm. Yeah, I looked into those numbers as well because I was like, oh yeah, cost of living, and then they had the ones that I just said before. But then it also went to a breakdown of grocery prices and the price that they had gone up, and like the percentages of all of that stuff, and I was just like, this is
It's
like
$2 bread now. No more dollar bread. It's $2.
no. Good luck trying to find dollar bread. Trying to find dollar anything. Jeez. Even the dollar store doesn't exist anymore. How's that?
Yeah, $2 shop who?
$5 store now or something. What is that?
Yeah.
It's some lead contaminated product from China.
Even Temu and Shein are expensive now, and those were meant to be like the kind of cheap stuff.
Yeah. The model that they use for those type of companies is always essentially undercut themselves to get people in, and then slowly over the years go back up to normal prices, because guess what? It's unsustainable to expect that you can buy everything for super fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Limited
Yeah.
resources and all that fun shit.
Yeah. We need more like productive investments in New Zealand. Like we need more local clothing stores and stuff, you know? Yeah.
Hmm.
This is so spooky.
One of the other, it is very spooky and sad. One of the other things that was written in this back in a year ago. So the first-time grant would save the government $245 million, and then of that, the $140 million was going to go into 1,500 new social housing places. So, and I think we've heard quite a few times from, I think Kieran's pointed this out, that the government is not building any more new homes. They need homes that they claim that they've built has actually been paid for by the previous government, because they set aside the money and then they inherited that situation, and then that money was already put aside. So I looked into it and I thought, well, that's great. Okay, so the government's not giving me the money, but maybe that money that could have gone to me is going to house a hell of a lot more people. I guess that's not a bad payoff. It sucks for me, but hey, this is great. But actually, It's not great. It still fucking sucks for everyone. So, like, these numbers are everywhere and they just keep growing and growing and growing. This is one of the, when was this one? 3rd of July this year. These are about some Auckland properties. So both developments in the Auckland region said not proceeding in a spreadsheet by Kāinga Ora projects around the country. The agency said it assessed 466 social housing projects nationwide and prioritised locations where it's being asked to deliver new homes or where upgrading older homes is higher priority. It plans to proceed with 254 projects, which will provide 1,800 homes. But the 212 projects it cancelled would have provided 3,500 new homes.
That's a lot of houses.
The other thing that they said earlier is that they were going to keep up with the they made a pledge with the last coalition, which was Greens, and no, it wasn't actually. I think it was just the Greens were on board with a Labour policy, which was 1,000 new homes every year. And Nicola Willis famously put her hand up and said, "Yeah, I will commit to that." But what she didn't say was, yeah, we'll commit to that, but we're not going to pay to build those houses. We're going to pass it on to community services and community housing providers. They're going to build the homes. We're not going to build them. We're going to have them privately owned. So they're not really state houses. And they are selling off a bunch of houses as well. And instead of keeping the number above 73,000, they want to keep the number at 73,000 homes, which is, when they need more homes, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So that's one of the things that came out of that as well. So the money's not going to a great place. Thanks. Thanks.
Good job, guys.
Really appreciate it. Good job. Good job.
No builds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've taken up enough time. No, we can't. I could go into the KiwiSaver stuff, but the gist of it is essentially they've slashed the contributions to KiwiSaver, the government contributions, so now you only get $260 from the government, and you can't earn more than $180,000 to be eligible for it. And they're going to make the contribution rate now 3.5% minimum. Which you can negotiate, but that means your employer also doesn't have to do the 3.5. And some good things, 16 and 17-year-olds now qualify for it, and eventually their employer has to match it. However, I looked into it. It doesn't take much math to do this. The $517, which is fuck all money, the $521 that we were getting, over a 60-year lifetime, it's a $30,000 per person investment. It's fuck all money for the government. $30,000 over someone's lifetime from the government. That's it. And that money, with inflation and the share prices and things like that, would just skyrocket with interest, all of that stuff. We get none of that. And it would have cost the government fuck all. So there you go.
I remember seeing a video too as well about the fact is that it's the whole, they've obviously taken away that, but increased how much obviously your employer has to pay. Forgetting that, guess what? The government employs people. So guess what? They're having to pay more money anyway for the fucking KiwiSavers, and it ends up being relatively moot in the end because bad at math. Just bad at math.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's not the kids that are struggling with numeracy. It's actually the people. I'm not one.
Like when I heard that they're trying to take our education back to even close to when we were kids. It's like, no, don't do that. There's some weird shit. Also, learning that Pat had to fucking do PE in his underwear as a child. I'm like, can we call Oranga Tamariki posthumously like that? Like, I don't know, but do we need to check in with some of our parents and stuff? Because that sounds kind of cooked to me. Oh, fucking terrifying. But we do have some, I think we've got a couple of super chats and some memes. So while Ems drinks water and recoups. We'll have a $2 from Peter saying, thanks for the scary story, Ems. I mean, got to keep it spooky this Halloween. And Mr. Arvids for $2. Nesian Mystic lied to me, got 2 fried eggs on that $1 bread. And that's actually what made me think about it, because that song's in my current playlist at the moment. And every time I hear that lyric, I'm like, man, those were the days. He also talks about getting like your $1 scoop of chips. And I'm like, oh my God, I miss that.
I miss
was
$1
so
lolly
good.
bag.
Oh, right. Or how fat a $2 bag of lollies used to be.
Yeah.
Fucking just like walking home like, damn.
I went to the dairy this morning, my local dairy, and very early because we'd run out of coffee. And the dairy lady gave me a lollipop because she said I was so smiley and she loved to see that in the morning. So I got a lollipop.
Oh,
I'm going
hell
to the
yeah.
dairy.
Fuck yeah. You hear that,
Yeah.
Fano? If you go to the dairy super early and you're nice,
Hungry.
you might get a lollipop, which is honestly iconic.
Smile at people in the morning.
Hell yeah. We got some snowflake reveals. I loved this one. And this isn't a meme, it's just a picture of
It's
Luxon
weird.
looking like a toddler. He stands like a toddler who's about to shit himself.
I think
Like-
his suit's just too small for him.
Yeah.
I think
That
he's
too.
like, I think someone's pointed this out before. He's like, I'm not surprised because like it's a big job being a prime minister, but it looks like he's perhaps put on weight because all of his suits don't fit correctly,
Which
and
is
that's
like,
what
he
you look
makes
like
enough-
when your suit's too tight.
He makes enough money to buy a bigger fucking suit before he goes to meet the fucking president of America, you'd think.
He's coping.
Surely he could make his wife or his assistant do it or something like that.
Hoping that's why. I'm still a size 30 something. I can do this. I'll fit in this.
A picture is still worth 1,000 words, but due to AI slop, those words are all melting illegible gibberish. Ladies, the day after Halloween, don't forget to buy all of the discounted blood capsules to keep in your mouth when men tell you to smile, which is
I hate that.
I love it. Hey, gotta make these men regret being gross
Oh, no.
sometimes.
I love that. I just hate
Yeah,
when
don't
women-
love that people have to think about this. Like, if we were to have a bigger conversation about how problematic this is, it'd be a whole different story. Also, just this ad being from some of the terrible video game ads that come up just gets me. This is literally everyone on the coalition side.
Oh
Christy
man,
Nunn was-
I have been really good in not like name calling people because like it's not fair. It's like, you know, I'm trying to be nice. But Nicola Willis this week, when I saw that video yesterday, I had to hold back, but I literally just went in the chat and I was just like, fucking bitch, because she is throwing misinformation out there and it is pissing me off because she's like, oh no, it'll affect this and it'll affect this. And all I've got is a dairy owner, a very niche case. And it's like, no, the tax won't do any of this. It's barely scratching the surface.
This is a total example that I can throw at you. And
Oh,
also
yeah.
the other MPs aren't allowed to call them liars in the House. And it's so annoying because that's what they're doing. Like, what are they meant to say?
They have to say it in the really like stupid roundabout passive aggressive way, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like
But-
you're lying.
We got Christy Nome is like a box of chocolates. They'll both kill your dog. Oh yeah, this is so David Seymour apparently posted, if this school was open when I was growing up, I may have been an All Black. And Shane Tepoe came through. The public school you went to actually has produced most All Blacks of any secondary school in the country. So what was that?
Because he's an Auckland private school, right? That's his thing.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's why
That
he is
doesn't-
the way he is, unfortunately.
Yeah, makes sense.
When all billionaires are going to New Zealand.
Leave.
Right? Spend your money or leave. The dragon rests on hordes of gold. PC will gather the town's wealth and add it in. The dragon will surely create jobs now. For anyone who hasn't played D&D, no, that's not how it works. New Zealand mention.
Hey,
I love this.
Chewie.
The billionaires living off government money have convinced us the problem is poor people living off the government money.
Yes.
That's what you got to remind people constantly.
Mm.
This is just a really good edit. I really appreciate how well this edit has just been done. Because
Oh, I cried just seeing that building getting teared down. Just like, oh, a piece of
yeah,
history for a fucking starship.
yeah, it's a bad timeline. You said you'd resign if we didn't feel safer in 12 months. I'm a national MP. You can't believe anything I say. Fucking Mark Mitchell. Oh yeah, don't random fact that I learned. So do you guys remember Possum Bourne, the race car driver?
Yeah. Yeah.
His wife was married to Mark Mitchell for like ages.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy. Sorry, just a random fact I remembered I learned. That's weirdly niche, but
His current
yeah.
wife?
I don't know if he's got a current wife. Actually, Peggy Bourne was his third wife. 3 women have agreed to marry this man somehow. I mean, like, crazy. And then we end on this. I live in New Zealand, not Aotearoa. It's the imagery.
Oh dear, dearie dear. All right, who's next? Who's got the spooky?
Oh, ladies first.
Yeah, I reckon I'll go because mine's kind of quick. It was just something I came across earlier today. But I can share my screen. I think I found the button. Here we go.
Hell yeah.
Let's look at this one, I guess. Can you see my screen?
Oh, I see it has come up.
Yes.
There we go. Nice.
Noticed we
Yeah.
both had pink, and we both pink Google, and I was like, oh, love that.
Okay.
Okay, so speaking of David Seymour, they've announced this new charter school for secondary students with autism. Now, obviously, we know that there's kids with autism in New Zealand that really need support, or need extra support in their classrooms. They might need technology, they might need extra resources, maybe a teacher aide, things like that. So the idea on the surface sounds fine, but I was looking into it, and it seems like it's specifically for neurodivergent secondary students who are struggling with traditional schooling. And I'm like, but in the Education Act, like, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm not claiming to be a lawyer, but in the Education Act, it literally says that, well, it kind of says, I don't want to say literally because I don't want to say it word for word, but basically all domestic students in New Zealand are entitled to free enrollment and free education in a school. So they can't specifically say, this is going to be a school for autistic kids, or this is going to be a school specifically for kids that have this specific characteristic, all for blonde kids. It's to prevent things like that. It's to prevent things like a segregation, So I was really concerned seeing this because I was like, I thought the whole thing was that you couldn't do that. And then obviously another thing is that these are all publicly funded, and that money could be put into actual state funded schools so that everyone has those resources, because we know that a lot of people are misdiagnosed with other things, that women specifically tend to get diagnosed later in life. So you don't want kids who can't afford to move to Wellington or Auckland and go to this school to miss out purely because of where they live or where they're zoned in terms of schooling and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm just very concerned about that. I don't know if it's legal. It doesn't make sense. I feel like it would make more sense to provide our state schools with enough resources to help all kids learn. And I'm also just concerned about the idea of separating kids with any kind of difference from other kids. Like, that seems weird to me. I had autistic kids at my school and it was great. Half of them are my friends still. Like, I think that's normal. There's a lot of people with autism. It's a spectrum. We should all be exposed to everyone in this world. And yeah, I just think it feels wrong to me. So I'm keeping my eyeballs on that. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that came across my eyeballs today too, and I went, I know there is a small case where this probably is quite helpful, but from this government, who is already showing signs of fascism, they want to
Yeah.
segregate the autistic kids away from everyone else. It's low-key giving eugenics for
Mm,
sure. It's definitely kind of seeming disingenuous because, as I'm pretty sure many people have said here before, yeah, it'll help? More funding in normal schools. Because that's
yes.
the thing is, like, it also made me, when you were talking about that, I just had this memory of watching Malcolm in the Middle and thinking of the way they always made the kids in the special class, come across, and that has always added to the stigma and stuff that kind of
Mhm.
also comes along with it. And it just feels like you're setting kids up to automatically be, being told they're in the R class and all other forms of horrible things. So, yeah, I think had this been like, had there been some consultation or call for this, and kind of if it was done maybe with a government that could be trusted more. I mean,
Yeah.
they've shattered everyone's trust because they keep shitting over every single person. I mean, I think people were kind of surprised how hard they were going on the racist stuff in the beginning of their term. But then I think the thing that really kind of, I think, has shown people that this government don't give a fuck was the women's pay equity. I
Yeah.
think that really broke a lot of people and kind of shattered the glass for them and going, oh, okay, so like they're not just racist, like they are just the bad guys. And I
Mm,
think that's why, like, I don't think many of us feel like this is going to be done in a way that's actually meant to help, people, because, there are definitely some people who just actually probably shouldn't be in any form of mainstream education. I've
mhm,
met a lot of people who struggled their entire, like, primary school through to high school, but the second they hit polytech or tertiary, that's actually where they shone. Or like, other people, it's just going into a job and fucking learning on the fly. Like, there are so many ways people to learn. And I mean,
mhm,
also, like what you said, is that we need to have kids in classes with every type of person, because
mm.
that's how we learn to,
That's how the world is.
yeah, it's literally how we learn how to socialize, how to interact. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just, yeah,
My
it's
when I was at the Aotearoa conference, there was a teacher. I'm just grabbing his name, William Wallace, and I heard him speak, and he was incredible. So he has autism himself, and he called himself neurospicy, and he said his kid also has autism. But he's a teacher, and he specifically studied REM sleep, which is super interesting. But he specifically teaches like making video games, which is super cool. And they've just had that rebate. So that's great for people like him.
hmm,
So he was talking about how children learn. Children are coming into a world where AI is just inevitable. They can get knowledge at their fingertips. They just have to ask a question. But if you ask a child how confident they are in their answer, that can reveal a lot about whether or not they know what they're talking about, if they understand it, or if there's like something missing. And it provides a way for you to, because AI is so overconfident, it provides a space for you to be like, why were you so confidently wrong? What's missing there, without having to accuse a child of using AI or being bad. So there are autistic people, autistic experts in this space that we should be listening to for how we could be teaching and helping implement things that work for autistic kids for everyone. Because I was like, that's a great approach. I think confidence is totally something that can teach critical thinking. And yeah, just that's the kind of thing and people we should be listening to, I think, in
absolutely.
education.
And I mean, I
Mm.
see this question here, and I think maybe some people have not quite understood us. I'm not saying that this isn't something that is necessary. What I'm basically saying is I don't trust this government to deliver it properly. Because yes, there are definitely like times where, because like again, like I said, some people should not be going to these places. Like there are some people who would probably benefit from a completely different type of education that can kind of segue them through work experience or other different types of things. However, again, it's hard to trust this government when they've shown how little they care about, you know,
And also,
most
special schools are
families.
not charter schools. They are different. Like, there's special schools already for people like, for example, I went to primary school across the road from a Kimi Order school, which helps a lot of people with different complex needs. And they would come into our school to hang out with us and play with us and learn sometimes in our classrooms. And then they also had that specialized support. That's different from a charter school setup where it's all publicly funded. Yeah, and like you said, I just don't trust David Seymour to be the one implementing it.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's really the kind of the biggest part of it, because you know what, if this is actually going to meet a need, and you know what, I really hope that if this school is implemented and it does show that this school is needed, then I think you pointed out a really good point. We need people from all across the country to be able to, you know, go to these types of schools. So then maybe we can have a conversation about having these, you know, put all around the place, you know, like we've got Kutakopapa across the Motu now. Like maybe that is something that we'll see. But it's really hard when this government's doing it because they're assholes.
And they're not transparent.
Yeah, that exactly. I mean, we've seen what's been going on with all that.
The question of what's the catch. There's always that question, because on the surface I see things and I'm like, oh, this seems really good. Like a lot of stuff that I think it was something that Chewie ended up. There was the report that came out from the literacy stuff with the mnemonics test and all the thing. I read the report and I was like, oh yeah, no, this is a glowing report. And then Chewie pointed out your video that you'd made and it pointed out that it was just mnemonics, because that's what I was looking for when I first heard it. I was like, it's glowing, but that seems quite quick. So I looked into the report and the report was also glowing, but you pointed out a great couple of things. It's like, it's not an independent report. And it's looking at one very small part of, what is it? Structured literacy, which is, can you sound out a word?
Different schools, different sets of kids. So very misleading.
Yeah. So
which again,
always got
why hard to trust, exactly. Like we've seen what they're doing to the curriculum. We can't trust them with mainstream schooling curriculum. You think I'm gonna trust them with this shit? Like, I really hope to be proven wrong and it turns out awesome and it goes well and it really provides and actually could even maybe be used as a guide or a structure of how to kind of, you know, maybe make mainstream school more accessible or add them in around. Like there is a lot of conversations that could be had around that.
For sure. Can we have a quick meme break?
Yeah. I think we definitely overdo a meme break. Although unfortunately, we've unlocked a new category of meme.
Oh no.
This one's called I Hate This Timeline. Because I saw these memes in the Discord, the first few of them, and then I went and actually found some more. But so I thought this was just a joke. Surely the Department of Homeland Security would not post video game memes for their recruit. Yeah, let's just see. We've got took an arrow to the knee, joinice.gov. I really probably shouldn't read these out loud together. Ethnic, but not too ethnic. Meet your new perfect woman. But then this is I went onto their Facebook myself.
No.
Exactly.
How dare they?
How fucking
How dare you besmirch the name of John 347? I can't remember what number it is. I used to be a massive Halo nerd. Still am, but this is no, you can't have it.
Yeah. They've come for for your boy. They're going just a weird message on this one too. Like, and then we've also got they came for fucking Lord of the Rings. They came for Lord of the Rings. And then this this was also posted on their Facebook. Like, American taxpayers paid for this. But yeah, that was the new category that we had unlocked.
Yeah, Gen Z joined the marketing teams, eh?
Oh yeah.
How dare they?
I think we'll have a couple of palate cleansers from the community just to wash that out of our mouth. Oh yeah, someone asked me to edit the one that was posted onto National's Facebook about Chris Hipkins. So I thought I'd do my bit. We got the includes no portfolios, taxpayer money, Cordu Lounge VIP, Jelly Spine, random quote generator, and Atlas Network connections. In this stunning outfit, you can see it's very fashion forward.
Oh,
And one size most,
Dude's-
that sounds right.
Yeah.
he's so weird, man.
Yeah, he is weird.
Who does that? Who does that?
Uh-huh.
Like, wait,
He
Why?
really thought he did something there. He really thought he did something. Oh yes, and as I believe Chewie showed us earlier, in loving memory of affordable butter.
The good old
Then
days.
we'll finish here, since it's
Jesus Christ.
actually honestly a really good one to finish on, given education chat. But yes, this was quite the image to behold earlier. But yes,
Jesus. Some creative thinking there, guys.
yes.
Hold on.
Good job.
Now, obviously, we had to pick a bill. I had a really hard time trying to pick a bill. So I kind of just narrowed it down to my top 3, to be honest. So
yeah.
we've got, well, I mean, we've talked about, I mean, most of them before, but obviously, oh, where's my screen? There's my screen, Sherry. I think one of the first ones that kind of came to my mind when I was thinking about it earlier today was obviously the amendments to the electoral bill, which obviously looks to ban prisoners from voting, which I think is, like, for me, one of quite possibly the craziest things, because again, like, we're talking about things that'll affect, have long lasting effects. Imagine what not being able to participate in democracy during potentially quite long sentences in prison could potentially do to things, as well as also just the fact that this government's so clearly trying to make it harder for people to vote because they know that we keep chanting one-term government. Like, it feels so obvious that they're so scared that they're just like, no, we've got to go in and we've got to make changes so that you can't be able to vote on election day, which again, New Zealanders, we've seen we're a very probably highly ADHD population bunch, but that's a different convo. But exactly, like, we know New Zealanders don't do things when they should, and that's why we have the election day, so you can just rock up and do it and actually participate. And if anything, we need to be, I personally think, if we were going to amend anything, it would be that we would have mandatory voting like Australia. I mean, it's right there. It's so obvious. And I think
Civic education.
and that's the thing is, I think it would actually encourage people to learn, because if you're forced to participate in voting, you're probably going to be, like, at least trying to do some bare minimum research. If not, we'd have also we'd have people who would be able to put out so much more educational content, because we'd understand these things more from the foundations, especially, you start voting when you're 18, hopefully 16 at some point. But, it's just trying to fuck with democracy when we already have a underwhelming amount of people participating is just kind of evil to me. And I think that's why it was kind of the first one that I kind of, I guess, thought of outside of RSB, of course. But yeah, I mean, is there anything that you guys wanted to mention about how much you hate about this one before I just touch on the next?
I think it's interesting that something I learned at uni this year was that if you vote, like when you're 18, then you'll probably vote for the rest of your life. But if you don't, then you're more likely to not ever vote. And I think it's interesting with the changes to the 18 and 19-year-olds with their welfare changes this year. Like, I hope a lot of them vote. And if they do, they'll probably vote forever and they'll remember this time. And so I really do hope we have greater voter turnout this year.
Yeah, that's well, I mean, hey, I know that's what a lot of us in the community have been saying, and like I know I definitely want to work on maybe getting some of our messaging before O week, maybe hit some of the O weeks, get them while they're engaging in stuff around campus. I think that
That's
could
a
be
cool
fun.
idea.
Yeah, wow. We've got until February to get it done, so we've got a little bit of time.
You need a B18 van, like ZM.
Right?
How they used to
Yeah, but then we'll be under the BSA.
Oh, true. Never mind.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense though. Starting a habit like that early in life is always going to kind of have a long-lasting effect. Generally, any habits you pick up earlier in life they'll stick a lot easier for the rest of your life. But obviously for my next one, because this one was actually the first one I thought of when I thought of some of the horrible things that has been done, and that is the disestablishment of Te Aka Whai Ora, which happened actually quite some time ago now in the scheme of things. I said, like, yeah, it's crazy to think that, especially when stuck to, I mean, look at Shainariti there, like, I think that was really disheartening and disappointing to see him in that role and supposedly be a doctor. That's what you'd want in that kind of role. And then we see, like, this is another thing that is going to affect generations. The whole point of it was so that Māori health could improve. And if anything, I'd say with this current government, I'd be surprised if Māori health didn't decline after this current coalition, because the amount of just stress and anguish and mamai and everything that the government has kind of put us through has kind of been really, I think, topped off by the fact that they came for the health thing specifically that we really only just had coming into being. Like, it still hadn't had its time to fully actually function, produce the data that we would have been able to go off of and show where what was working, what wasn't working. Instead, it was just take everything out that's to do with Māori, and I guess that's why they're running out of they're going through those first, so then that way the bills we're going through now, I guess, hopefully seem better.
And then they've like removed the census as well. So there's like probably not a very good way that they're going to track whether this has impacted Māori and that's sad.
Yeah, that's a good point too. We know that when it comes to Stats NZ being targeted, that's exactly it. They're trying to mess with the things. And I mean, we saw them take out a bunch of funding for a bunch of research, and which I think technically call it arts research funding, but that covered so many areas that were more humanities and social sciences based. And, those are things that can really help us actually. I mean, it's funny that they cut the things that would actually help you be able to game the efficiency of human psychology. And it's just like, right there. If you really wanted to do it, you could do it the proper way, but instead they do it this way. So yeah, I mean, this was pretty much it for the two bills, but I actually just had one that I wanted to bring as a spooky story. So, should we move from bill to spooky story?
Yeah.
Or okay. Well, before we finish to bill, then since we talked about the regulatory standards bill being the most scary, I saw this from the Greens. So they're currently basically you can go and give recommendations of some of the amendments you think should be in the regulatory standards bill. And they've got this kind of here to give you a bit of an idea of what, you might put into that, and you can just put it in here and it'll go to the Greens, and it'll be your way of being able to just have your say and kind of also encourage you to go and actually read the bill, remind yourself, refresh, maybe go look it up, double check, an article that summarized most of it for you, and just engage with that. That'd be really awesome. But to go to our spooky story, this is the name that we've heard before. This is a name that I feel like we've been talking about since last year, because I did the math and it was. So we should unfortunately remember. Yeah, yes, correct response, Brie. Correct response. So, yep. And it's a scary story, but I think it's a story that has stayed a little under the radar much, and we got to remember this is actually still going on. So yeah, we've got a police audit after McSkimming's saga sees other staff investigated. Yes, which is, I want to say, surprising, but I feel like it's not. I mean, as is the kind of case with a lot of these types of things, when you've got someone who's going to the lengths of having child pornography on their work computer along with bestiality, I'm sorry, but that's the thing, is that's only like part of the story. So I actually went through and I made up a little timeline of and you know what? I'm actually just going to share my screen. It's a doc, but who cares? It makes life easier. So before Christmas, we had McSkimming's placed on full pay suspension, which they didn't give the exact date, but it had been planned since before Christmas. Then in January, media reported McSkimming remaining suspended pending a criminal investigation. But at that time, the nature of the allegations were not public. And then we go to May, and it was reported that McSkimming's has been on leave/suspension for about 4 months. He remains under the investigation by both the police and the Independent Police Conduct Authority. May gets a bit busy. We see McSkimming's resigns from his role effective immediately. And I believe in some of the articles I read, he actually knew that the media had gained information about the nature of what was in the computer child pornography and Mr. Editor. And so he knew that they knew that, and that's when he decided to quit. Which says a lot about him.
When he got caught.
Yeah, exactly. When he knew that he let the New Zealand public pay him from December all the way through until the 12th of May. So we were paying this man to be investigated for some horrific crimes. And while we weren't told it initially, this only came about because there were, I believe, just pornographic images found on the device, which then led them into an investigation, which then led them upon what else was in there. And so then it's reported that he strongly denies the allegations. And he also, at this time, there was articles about the fact that a friend of his had talked to him about asking for some leniencies around firearm licensing, because his friend was about to have too many demerit points and couldn't get his gun license or something like that. And so Jevon basically made a decision to do him a solid, which he denies.
this is also around the same time. So actually, it's right here. I've got the date slightly. So 12th of May, he resigns. May 15th, the news comes out that he started selling off his homes. So on the Wednesday, there was a sold sign outside of his Waikanae property that him and his wife owned. The listing of the property had invited offers over $715,000. We should also remind everyone that this is post Brightline test change. So this man is also going to be getting that benefit. And then another property, which was $595,000, with the listing saying owner says get it sold, all caps. Very dodgy. So then 27th of June now, he is arrested in Wellington as part of the investigation into the objectionable material. 3rd of July, his first court appearance via audiovisual link. And then 4th of August, charges are publicly revealed. 8 representative counts of possessing objectionable material, including child sexual exploitation and bestiality content, covering a period between July 2020 and December 2024.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
And you might not know, but do we know if the exploitation, like if the victims are like children from our country that need victim support?
No, we don't have any of that kind of information. Like, this is all, I would imagine that type of information will still be very much internal and those kind of things, I imagine. I mean, I don't know fully, but I imagine there is the likelihood of, police getting orangatamariki potentially involved or something like that, but I'm not sure of these types of processes. All I know is that it is images, it does include children, but we don't know the origin, we don't know ages or anything like that. And then obviously this is also when the name suppression lapses, and basically we're able to put everything together, because obviously prior to this it was, notable New Zealander or high profile New Zealand, whatever the horrible things. But then there's also some additional context that the IPCA is also investigating whether there was any misconduct or neglect of duty by any other police officers or employees and how allegations were handled. The exact nature of the initial allegation still remains to be suppressed by public media, and the criminal charges related to objectionable publications under the Films, Videos, and Public Classification Act, which carries significant maximum penalties, which would also give you a bit of an idea of how quite likely egregious these things are. And that's my scary fucking story.
Pretty scary.
I go way too hard, right? Committed to the outfit. I committed to the bits. But it's also something that I think a lot of people don't really know is going on at the moment. And especially the fact that we paid that man for, I think, about 5 or 6 months just for him to quit his job and sell all of his houses. And now we're seeing there's other police involved.
Yeah, I think if the allegations are as serious as that, then you should be put on suspension, and then if they're found to be not guilty of them, or they don't go any further, then back pay them.
Yeah,
like I don't see, like I don't see why we couldn't back pay them if it turns out that it was all false. But like allegations like that aren't just like rumors. Like, oh, I heard this, and they'll investigate and be like, no, that there's nothing there. But there's obviously something to investigate. So don't pay him. It's because you can't take money. It's really hard to take money back after you've paid someone.
Yeah,
but it's very easy to back pay someone and pause their income. But like.
Absolutely. I mean, they could have even staggered it where it's like, okay, maybe when he first, like the first initial point of investigation was, okay, maybe suspend him with pay. The second they found that additional material, however, I feel like that's when you could be like, you know what? we're suspending you without pay until we actually understand what the fuck's going on.
Mhm.
Because that is just unequivocally evil. But also seeing that other police officers are, potentially under audit is also scary. I'm really hoping, for the sake of everyone, that he was just on his own. But if I'm completely honest, I really doubt that. These people, they don't find these things from nowhere. They create networks. We've seen some horrible things that, and I'm going to say it, men can fucking do. And I mean, that being said, we could also have some women police officers involved in this too, because people can be fucking evil. But it's just so frustrating to see how this is just continuing to unfold. And this is also, this government enables people like that as well.
How are we meant to lower our domestic violence rates if our own police violate?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing is, there is a high statistics of cops not being good people. And it's just, it's horrible, but I'm keeping my eyes on it because we kind of have to, because I really, really hope that this will at least see some justice at the end of it, for whatever justice you can find from something like that. It's a rough one. Anything else you guys want to say on this, or should we move into some memes? I feel like I've depressed everyone.
Memes.
I'm sorry, I'm giving out depression for Halloween candies, guys. Trick or treat.
It is spooky season. We did say.
And I did say I'd commit to spooky, so it's a rough one, but honestly, ACAB, man. Sometimes you just gotta ACAB. We got a couple of super chats.
We do have a few super chats.
There's a couple down the bottom there. Do you want to read those out? And then
I'll read through them. Kai Matata for $5 says, alternative for calling Luxon a liar in Parliament? Thou speakest naught but falsehoods, Luxon. Or Luxon, thy tongue weaveth but deceit and trickery. There.
Nicely said.
Segregation Seymour.
I mean, it does roll off the tongue. All right, let's go into some memes to palate cleanse. Oh wait, that's not a meme. Fuck off. Get out of here. That's the bad stuff.
It's the opposite.
You're not allowed.
The opposite.
Well, actually, I'm gonna be honest. I just clicked to the next meme. It's not the greatest face to see, but
Ah.
But we had
Spooky.
Aiden saying that Alex Jones' prophecy is complete, and I mean, that's why it inspired me to make this meme. Because it really is. He really is our Alex Jones.
He's turning into it pretty quickly, that's for sure.
Right? Good old wind warning. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Oh, yeah. This absolute buffoon held an international summit for investors and nobody invested. What was that? What was that again?
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing. Oh, God. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh,
Yes,
oh God.
This picture, I don't believe was made by our people, but the caption was, we have independent foreign policy positions. We don't make decisions based on what others do, nor do we bow to pressure from outside. And I think that's very eloquent.
Can I just point out that Luxon looks like Trump too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I thought that was Trump.
like a
we
very
saw the picture
young,
earlier.
if you look at a young Trump, that is
We're gonna have to
Let's-
My
side
God,
by
that's-
side. Oh my god, yes. Just you, National Party CGT lies.
oh
That's
Jesus.
you, Ems. It's you.
Oh God. Just how
Oh,
do I-
but Ems isn't looking, guys. I gotta wait for her. Don't mind me.
No, I'm looking at a picture of young Trump, and it,
I
it
know.
kind of is- Hang on.
Hold
hang
on, I'm taking mine off. Yeah, there we go. Take mine off the stage. Oh my god. Ugh.
a
Oh.
little bit much, right?
Mm.
Yeah. It is a little. It is a
A
little.
little bit spooky.
Yeah,
Oh God.
it's a little spooky. But this is you. This is you when National was lying. But then also we have our creation of the week from good old Cybo Goblin as always. This was posted before the episode finished again. Just always
You
out
guys
with
are
the
nuts.
goods, right? But I love it. I love it. Do we have some other little things we want to look at? Because I have a couple of good things if we need it.
Before you
no, you
give
go.
us the good, can I spook us just one last time, because I think this is
Oh,
the
go
bill that
on.
everyone wants to keep
Oh,
in
go
mind.
on. It's Halloween, of course.
Regulatory standards bill, everyone's favorite. Only because this is probably the number one spookiest, and we've kind of had to put it to the side because everything else has come out. A reminder that it's still going through. So there's been a bunch of changes that have happened. I don't want to look at him. Just a reminder as well, the department report prepared by the Minister of Regulations and cited in the committee's report revealed Parliament received 159,000 submissions on the bill, with 156,000 of those, or 98.7%, in opposition. Just pointing that out there. But in its current state, the passing of the Regulatory Standards Bill is on the government's fourth quarter plan, meaning it is expected to pass before the end of this year and come into effect at the start of 2026. If we're going to be a prosperous country where people have ambition and confidence to invest in the future, we must lift our game on good lawmaking, says Seymour. I was going to call him Seymour Peters. The Regulatory Standards Bill is a serious commitment to making New Zealand a grown-up country with a serious future, not somewhere where the whims of politicians can dash your future.
Oh my god.
So,
You tell him. Get him, buddy.
this is going to come into effect January next year. And from what we've heard from, I think it was Tanya Waikato gave us the best sort of breakdown of it. It's a really, really seriously bad piece of legislation that will have wide effects. And assuming one-term government, we can get them out next October, fingers crossed. Hopefully, the next government can just scrap it in its entirety, but I don't know. Depends how bad this bill is, because I have heard very, very bad things about it. So
It's
Yeah,
just that
it's just a-
that's why they can't be trusted in anything else, because what was it, 98% of submitters were against it, and you didn't listen, and you're going to do it anyway. Why would anyone trust this government ever? Like, why would you trust them? They don't listen. We've done more submissions ever than in our lives. I've said to people older than me, is this normal? Like, is this normal? Have I just become an adult? And I'm like, wow, the world's crazy or something. They're like, normal. This isn't normal.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. I mean, me and my therapist actually talk about this government way more than I'd fucking like. I mean, to be fair, they are paying for my therapy sessions, but it would be nice to talk about something else. You know, there's other stuff I have to work on. And even he says, like, he has been voting since the 80s. And this is the worst government he's ever seen, regardless of what side he supports. It's just, they're absolutely steamrolling it. But do you know what? And this is what I want us to kind of think of and hopefully push from, you know, the hopeful Labour Greens TPM coalition next year is, hey, look, guys, we can just do it. We don't have to sit here and go through all of these things. You know what? Maybe we should actually just go, fuck you. We'll do the things that will make your life better, even if you don't want us to. Because
Yeah.
at this point, I am sick of seeing these right-wing governments not only make our lives worse, but then this government's just fucking speed running it. I'm like, okay, well, you're setting a new precedent. And if this is the new precedence, fuck. Give Chloe and Marama the keys, and they will show you how to run a country.
Mhm.
But
I love
hopefully,
that.
though, we gotta take that energy. We gotta work it up because
Yeah.
they've shown us
that
we can do whatever the
serious.
fuck.
Yep.
Exactly. And I mean, the climate crisis is it's not even just getting, it is at existential levels of crisis. Like all of the neon signs and alerts, and they're all going off.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, can I just
hopefully we'll
repeat
do
something
that.
that you guys will have a little laugh at?
Yeah.
I can't remember what I brought up, but the husband was leaving the house and I must have said something to him. And he's like, man, I would not be surprised if in like the next 50 to 100 years we're just going to see like a full revolt. And I was just like, 50 to 100?
Yeah, I was like,
We're looking at the next like 10 years. And he's like, don't be ridiculous. And I'm like, we're
people
already
thought
like
World
we
War
covered
III
this.
memes were funny.
Yeah, we are already seeing like Nepal, Morocco, the Gen Z revolutes. Like we are seeing this across the world, and the Western countries are just sort of like getting to that state where they will see a revolt as well. I fucking hope that doesn't happen. But
My partner has a theory that people won't revolt against necessarily capitalism itself, but they'll revolt against like dictator type people like Trump, for example, because they'll just be so angry at that person because those people are the ones that are destroying capitalism, not us. It's them because they're the ones hoarding the wealth. So that's why it doesn't work. So that's his theory, and I think that's pretty smart.
Well,
See
yeah,
that happen.
actually, it's funny. You made me think of a video that I was hoping we might watch tonight, but I wasn't sure if we'd have time for. But it's actually talking about that directly and about how historically capitalism, which is kind of, the fascism, capitalism we're under now, these things are generally only defeated by communism and the cycle that currently exists historically. And whether that communism is, the details of the communism, I think, is obviously up for different conversations. But in essence, what she was talking about is how that's kind of how the history has gone. She's a person who is obsessed with reading declassified documents from the US government, kind of similar, I guess, to our OIA Afano. And she has this really awesome video that I might just even pop into the chat if people want to go have a look at it. But it's a really interesting story about just, she points out basically there is nothing the United States government would not do in order to get what they want or need. And I didn't know this, but at one point the American government was considering assassinating someone in their own country so that they could have an excuse to try and take over Cuba. But the only reason that they didn't do it was because they decided it wasn't the most strategically advantageous move at that time. Same with the America's involvement in World War II. They only joined when it was more strategically advantageous, because also they supply a lot of the armaments for war. And it always comes back to that shit.
America's involvement in like world politics, and especially countries around the world that were heading towards more socialist, more sort of communist, but probably just socialism, good left politics that were going to overthrow shitty governments. They have their fingerprints all over it. Like there's a paper trail to show that they had involvement in a lot of those countries not being able to go more left and overthrow awful right-leaning dictatorship-style governments. It's really sad. I think it's finally coming to a point where America is no longer this this beautiful country that's helping the world and like we're long past that. Like they're not the little saviors they think that they are. They're just it's fucking awful. It's
No,
really awful.
absolutely.
The
And
land
I
of
think
the
it's been a
free.
hard reality for all of us to go, oh, these people we were told were these cool guys we can look to and idolize. Turns out they're the bad guys. So now my entire sense of identity is shattering.
Mm.
Hmm.
Sorry, guys. I just got sent a meme of M's live right
No.
now. No, that was a live meme react. That was a live meme react.
Oh my gosh.
Can I see it?
Yeah, of course.
No.
That's why I was opening it. I was just like, that's all.
Oh, are you putting it up? I need to go into Discord.
Yeah, I got it. Nah,
Live
we can all
meme
look at
react.
it together. And I mean, you know what? I see it. I fucking see it.
Get it.
I mean, what a person to be compared to. Like,
Yeah.
me?
Wait.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, there we
No,
go.
anytime I do that, I just think of Chuck Schumer, where he's just like, his glasses are half. That's all I think of.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
fucking Chuck Schumer with his glasses at the end of his nose. It's, can't do it. Can't do it.
But yes, that was my live meme react. Sorry about that, Fana. This is what
Dude.
happens when I forget
Alright.
to turn my Discord notifs off.
The spooky Discord noises, they weird me out, man.
Oh, they're annoying. I had to actually disable those. It's horrible.
Couldn't figure out they were. Right, last one, memes.
Yeah, actually, I got a couple of. I had a good thing we could look at real quick. They only take a few secs. Oh yes. First of all, that's right. We got to here because this is a BHN relevant positive news story.
Yay!
All right, where are we? So we got the most popular pet names in New Zealand this year. Very important because we go down here and we see the top names. So we got Luna.
There's my kitty.
My sister's
And
kitty
then
too.
we go down here. Nala.
Yay, Nala.
Oh,
So we got
Cute.
we got some BHN.
oh,
BHN.
and Nalas and cats too.
Oh, I didn't even
Nala's
notice that.
Six
Hell yeah.
and cat.
Oh yeah, like Nala and Luna are in both of those.
Simba.
Oh, and Coco. Interesting.
We're gonna get
We
more
really like
creative,
to
man.
name our pets the same things.
All
Right?
of our cats are named after gods. We had Elo was Elios, the god of comfort. Artemis, I don't know what, god of war and something else. Luna, but Luna and Artemis is just because they're the Sailor Moon cats. But then we like war names. Let's keep it.
Yeah, nah, I get it. I mean, sometimes you start with a naming convention.
My animals were all alcoholic beverages growing up. So we had like a cat called Merlot, a dog called Gin.
Oh, that's cute. I kind of love that.
I always wanted to have a name, but my mum
Totally
was
not
like,
problematic or anything, right?
screaming
I
Merlot.
don't know. Yeah. I guess-
Vodka.
Yeah, if you see a little kid doing that, you would be a little concerned. Like, why does
Yeah.
that kid know what Shiraz is? Like,
Jim Beam.
oh god.
My family don't like drink.
Whiskey.
It was very weird.
To be fair, my ex was named after Jack Daniels, so
That's a good one.
yeah, people do that.
Mm.
Unfortunately.
And then I just have this cool little I guess we're talking
That
about
actually work for wheelchair users, hidden zippers for port access, and magnetic buttons for easy dressing. Imagine a company that saw
That's
real
cool.
needs and designed
Right?
real solutions. Thankfully, you don't have to imagine. That's what Spoony Threads has done. This shirt uses magnets so people with limited hand function can wear a button down without the buttons. These sweatshirts have zippers on the sleeves for port and IV access, as well as a kangaroo pouch for medical gear. These shirts are incredibly soft and also have zippers on the chest and sleeves, which work well for hemodialysis. Whatever.
And I just thought that was a really cool thing. So if you want to go follow them, they're called Spoonie Threads or at Spoonie Threads, SPOONIE. Because obviously love seeing accessibility, especially in clothing. Like a lot of people take for granted, you know, how much clothes are just kind of made to fit a functioning body.
That could be great for old people.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, even just people, just generally anyone who even goes into hospital sometimes, you know, sometimes people have surgeries, they have them out for a while. So just kind of coming up with innovative ideas to help our disabled whānau. And then the last one's just a video meme. And I thought this one was exciting because Gen Xers actually get name dropped in this meme and they always get annoyed because they get left out. So I thought, here you go, guys. I've got you a meme. You're included with us millennials and Gen Zs. So this was just a silly little song.
Gen Z got TikTok, millennials got MySpace, and Gen X got AOL, and boomers got to buy a house and go to college while supporting themselves on a minimum wage job. Mass-produced distractions. I'm not lazy, but bitch, you don't want to pay me. Gen Z got
Yeah. And I see a Gen Xer getting excited. No, yeah, Gen X mentioned. See, I knew it. I fucking knew it. But also, very fair point. Well, how many of us have a KiwiSaver that's going to get us a home anymore?
Yeah, I thought about the other day as well. Well, I mean, it kind of evens out. Is that we're all with, like, the idea was that KiwiSaver withdrawals to help us get into our first home. KiwiSaver is our retirement fund. Just remember, it's our retirement fund. We are all withdrawing our retirement funds at the ages of 30 and 35, and that's going to go down to $1,000. And in the next 30 or less years, we've then got to make up, I don't know, I think you need something like more than $300,000? 600? I don't know what it is. Like, it's like 300,000 is like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's what we need to put back in it in over 30 years. Just a reminder. I mean, I also know that you're also paying into a house, and that is an asset that you'll have, but that's the asset you have to live in. You still have to live in it. You can't sell it off to pay for your retirement because then you have nowhere to live. So just pointing that out there, guys.
And like we've got an aging population and less young people, so they're not going to just be able to sell their house and move into a retirement village. There's not going to be enough spaces in the retirement village, so they're either going to have to live with us or.
Points about retirement villages: you have to pay for those units in cash. So you either have to sell your house to then buy it, which means you're going to be homeless for some amount of time, but you have to pay for those in cash.
Boom.
Make that make sense. Oh, that's right. Everyone's got a mum and pop investment property, so they'll just sell that, and then they'll use the cash from that minus the capital gains tax to buy their retirement villa, and then they're going to sell their house for $1 million, and then they'll have $1 million cash in their account. It's like
Easy.
Not us. Not us.
We're like,
Absolutely. Oh my god, yo, can you imagine the cool live streams we'll have when we're old though? That shit'll be
Oh my
basic
god.
as fuck.
Did you guys see Tim Waltz Tim Walz, sorry, played NFL in like the Simpsons what is it? Drive?
Hit
Whatever
run?
the Simpsons Hit and Run, yes. He was playing that during the election campaign.
Oh my god.
It's so
I
cool.
love
Everyone called him out like he's not even playing it. Like he doesn't this boomer doesn't know anything. He's like, no, I'm sure that's him playing it.
It's almost like, guess what? Older people made the video games once upon a time. Fuck. I mean, my grandma literally ran a fucking game parlor where you had all your arcade machines.
Cool.
I come from
That's
a
cool.
long line of gaming family.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it is a bit of fun. It is a bit of fun.
That is really cool.
Got my last couple of non-political memes if you want.
Yeah, and I think we should wrap up. We should let Brie go
Yeah.
and enjoy
Told
her
you we
Friday
wouldn't
night.
Get out early. I told you.
That's true. We
We
tried.
had some fun comments this week. Because Chewie, dial-up Chewie, as some may remember, we got frozen Chewie is hard on the teeth. Postman Pink Pat has a ring to it. Oh yeah, did you see Pat stole your thing? He stole your bit.
Why?
He was
Pat-
wearing a
why was he-
bright pink t-shirt and he called himself
Oh.
Pat. And then
Oh,
he
he
was
should have called himself Pink M's.
You tell him. You tell him.
Beard. I
Give him a
don't know.
message.
It's-
But no, he came for your gear, so that's why we got the Pink Pat Pink Pat. And I also loved this from Ian. We are patrons so that you can be patronizing to us, which I thought was a bit funny. And then our non-related memes. When the whole family used the same
boss.
Google account. YouTube
Oh,
patrons. I mean,
my husband had his logged into his parents, who quite often look after the grandchildren, and his feed was disgusting. And I was like, no, I don't want to see that on your feed. You need to like log out of that account. Ruined his recommendations.
oh yeah. What kind of dog is that? An everything beagle. Which I love beagles. 6'7" might be annoying, but I'm old enough to remember going to school the morning after the Great Cornholio first aired. And we can tell Pat really watched the show. We know our Pat loves him some. Is it teepee on his bunghole? Is that it? I think it's it. I don't know what the first word is. I just hear bunghole and laugh. No one had pronouns in my day. Meanwhile, TV character from the day. Early worm gets the bird. Fuck him up, Gary.
I love it.
My
Oh,
ancestors
dear.
never dreamed of having this many tabs open at once. Meanwhile, we had people out here trying to read books like this. I need to research why Pokemon cards are so expensive. Computer, show me Pokemon inflation. And if you don't get this joke, it's fine. Don't Google it. Don't try to find out what the joke is. Oh yeah, this is apparently a statue in Lima. Which I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with this hamster, like pharaoh looking guy. Just looks kind of fun.
Okay.
I like to throw soy sauce at sad people. Kick a man while he's down. Yeah, I knew you'd like that one.
Uh,
And then at the end, we have pictures of Maggie. And
She's so
look how beautiful Maggie is. Say hi, everyone. This is Maggie.
So
Since we don't have a
fluffy.
Nala cam, this is
Oh,
the
he's so
best we
fluffy.
got.
just trying to have my hands
Also,
in it.
apparently it was a guinea pig. My bad. Close enough.
Oh, yeah.
It's a penny
They all
gig. I don't care. Yeah.
They all
Close
look the
enough.
same. Yeah.
Don't
They
say
all
that.
look
You're
the
going to set our chat off. They will. They will go off. Yes, the kitty. Oh
Very
yes, we have
cute.
some hellos to Maggie.
Eevee.
Do we have any
Look at that.
super chats that we missed? I think we do.
I think yeah, at least one.
Except
We've got
Peter.
some random ones that I highlighted.
We got Peter saying Daphne tears off mask. Turns out it was the establishment all along.
Yeah. Absolutely it was.
You could put a few words in there. Turns out it was Atlas all along. Turns out it was David Seymour all along. Turns out it was the police commissioner.
I also like this one from Gary earlier. In Wellington, a Halloween trick is the child tells you Nicola's tax cuts for landlords are good for everyone, then they run away. We can't afford candy here in Wellington. So, yeah. Also, someone
cool.
thought you said Seymour penis, which so then seeing more penis is a bipartisan issue, which I just...
I was going to call him Seymour Peters.
That's right. Okay, so that's where... Okay, I was like, I don't know. But,
Where did you say that?
Seymour Peters is no, I just saw Seymour Says, and then for some reason I was going to say Seymour Peters. But you know what? Seymour Penis is pretty accurate.
Apparently some kids were juicing as job applications for this year's trick or treating.
Oh,
Especially in the 90s. I'm sorry. That was too dark and more, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't have added that last bit.
It's so sad. Those poor children. Those poor adults bloody applying for those jobs. All right. We should probably get out of here.
Yeah, we should also do one last quick reminder that the podcast awards, if you'd like to vote for us in the podcast awards, there is QR code on screen right now. Or you can go to nzpodcastawards.com. Go vote for Big Hairy News. We've also got, I think, Craig's up there. We've got Gary up there. There's a lot going on. So please, sir, may I have a vote?
We have someone saying first time in the chat. Shout out to Brie.
Well, thank you for joining us.
You've been an amazing guest host, Brie.
Yeah.
You enjoyed yourself.
I had so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Good. I hope we haven't ruined your start to your weekend.
No, I love talking politics and I love talking bad policy. So this was fun.
Hell yeah.
I'm just glad other people exist that like it.
Right? Especially for a Friday night. Like, I had a friend being like, oh, so me and some friends are having pre-Halloween drinks if you want to come tonight. And I'm like, I'm going to be dressing up as a niche political podcast meme and talking about politics. Sorry.
Yeah. I expect a badge of your face right now to be made and sold on the website.
Next Halloween.
Don't give M's
We'll bring it back.
Oh, yeah. No.
Don't.
I mean, I own the hat now. And you know what? Guess what? The hat cost me $3 and the face paint cost me $3 because Kmart discounts. $6 outfit right here.
Kmart.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I won't tell you what mine costs.
Yeah, maybe don't tell us about it. But to be fair, yours is much
Blood,
more
sweat, and
reusable
tears.
and wear-outable. I don't think I'd go to the club like this. To be fair. I could, but I probably wouldn't.
I don't know if I should go to the club like this. You guys are only seeing the top half.
You could, but it depends on what kind of club you're talking about.
True. Anyways. All right. Let's I think we should play out the credits.
Yeah,
Let these
let's get
people
outta here.
go and enjoy their Friday nights. Ba-doo.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All have a lean either this way or that, and will be analyzed by what Chewie and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks everyone for joining us on this spooky Halloween Friday night for some big Halloween news with myself, Magenta, and Brie. Thanks for joining us, Brie. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, I had heaps of fun. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Anything to say, Magenta, before we go?
Oh, I hope everyone just has a really good weekend and touch some grass. You know what I mean? All that good shit.
Sounds good. I hope everyone enjoyed the spooky season, and I guess now it's Christmas, so let's enjoy that.
Oh, actually, it's our 1 year anniversary next week.
It's our
That's
1 year
what
anniversary next week.
It's our anniversary next week, guys. So come hang out with us because we've been together
Yay.
for like, yeah.
Yay!
And come
Sounds
see me and
good.
Detective Bridges on Monday. We'll be hanging out at Aotearoa tonight.
Absolutely. Well, have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Friday. Jenny.
Go to after school.